All right, we are live, and we'll go live on Amazon here in a minute too. Okay, we are fully live now. So today, I know what I was looking for. I was looking for my knife to open this thing up. Today we're going to look at this Roland kind of Swiss Army knife device that allows you to plug in a whole bunch of stuff for web presentations and video production, and you can do it all pretty much in one place, which is what attracted me to this. So basically what this thing does is it kind of replaces or augments, if you will, one of those XLR microphone adapters. Let me see if I can find a better picture of it here. Yeah, there you go. So it's got an XLR input for audio, so you can plug in a fancy microphone like this one and get a really high quality mic going, but it also does the video input. So if you wanted to plug in a nice camera over HDMI, it can do that as well. So it's kind of like again, like a Swiss Army knife approach to video production, in that you don't need a bunch of devices, you just need one. And what it has are two audio inputs. So one input is for the XLR, but it also supports plugging in an external audio player. And in addition to that, apparently it can store audio too. So you could get like some short clips, like 5 seconds, is loaded into its memory. So we'll see how it all works. Justin Roberts is here and Kevin Hawthorne is here. Good to see you both. Yeah, so this is one of those neat things that I come across every once in a while. I bought this, it was on sale yesterday, so I figured, what the heck, let's try it out. Because we've looked at similar video capture hardware in the past. And I kind of like the idea of having a single device that can do the work of multiple devices. Christoph Howard is here. Good to see you. And so inside the box here, we have a big old USB 3 cable. And eventually what we'll do here, we'll start with my Mac, but eventually what we're going to do here is connect this up to my vMix system and see how it all comes together. So another twist tie to add to the collection. Yeah, not a very long cable, but I guess it's kind of designed to hook up to a laptop or something. So, all right, we got a bunch of manuals here. And then here is the unit itself. Now I'm curious about the power source. It looks like this is bus powered because there is no power supply. But I'm going to go to the support page here in a second and see what we have to download. And then here is the unit itself. It's all metal. Feels pretty nice, actually. It's got a nice solid feel to it. And, oh, it looks like it gets audio over HDMI also. Wow, that's pretty cool. So here's the top of it. So your microphone will plug in here. You have a mute button for muting the audio. You can turn your video on or off here. So all the controls, you can just hit a button to adjust, like if you're doing Zoom or whatever. You can mute your audio. So this is the audio output from the HDMI and the audio input. And then you also have the microphone mute here. So you could play music and then switch over to the other when you get started. It supports phantom power, which this mic needs. And then these buttons are configurable, and there's software that I'll install to monitor that. And you have a monitor out because on the back here, you have a monitor out which is used for a speaker output, but you also have a audio output. And then there's also an aux in. And you can turn on the phantom power here with that switch. And then the HDMI goes in over here. So I've got a camcorder, a Canon XA whatever, that will plug into it. So that is how that's going to work. Pretty nice. I like the compact feel of it. I also kind of like the fact that it's bus powered. And you know, you don't think of Roland when you think about all these streamer tools, right? But, oh wow, look at this. So you can also attach a headset with a TRRS cable. I wonder if I have one of those. I do have one somewhere over there. And so it looks like, from an audio control standpoint, oh yeah, so it does, look at this. So it's actually a 4-channel mixer. You have your HDMI audio, you have your auxiliary input, you have the main mic over here, and then you have your headphone microphone with the TRRS connector, and then you've got your headphone output on top of whatever else. This thing's got a lot of a lot of stuff built into it. So thank you, Alonzo JT, for your input on this. And again, it is fully bus powered. And Ned Dredd says it looks just like, yeah, it does kind of look like they're, yeah, because they are a musical instrument company first and foremost, but they do make video devices. I have never actually reviewed one of them. So this is like the first one that I've looked at. I bought this with my own funds, partly because it looks really useful. And you know what? I just got done with all my local schools, getting them hooked up with equipment for their broadcasts. And this would have simplified things a lot because it does the video input and the audio input. So let's take a look at that. Matt K is here. Thanks for joining us. So let me go and look up the software, because that's apparently a big part of this thing's operational whatever. So let's go and look that up real quick. And let me go over to their website here. Where to buy? Oh, I got that. Let's go to support. And there's owner's manuals. I got to find the software for this. Or downloads. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to do the setup tool for Mac OS. There's also a UVC system program. I'm guessing that must be the firmware. Oh. So why am I'm not pre-recording. Sorry, everybody. My live stream just ended because apparently, this is on the Amazon side. I'm going to restart this. So for whatever reason, Amazon thought I was pre-recorded, which I'm not. So let me start this again here. And let me get this going here. Give me a second, everybody. All right, there we go. All right, to the Amazon moderators, I am not pre-recorded. I am doing this live right now. This is the first time it's ever happened. They actually cut my thing off because they thought I was pre-recorded. I'm not pre-recorded. I am doing this live as we speak. So I am back up on Amazon again. Flood of Sins is here. Hello there. So yeah, so we're going to plug this in a second. What I'm looking for, though, is... Oh, look at that. So you can use the two assignable buttons for PowerPoint and Windows, and it has two modes, compressed video and uncompressed. Oh, that's right. I was looking on the specs for that it had an uncompressed mode and then a motion JPEG mode. So that's neat. So I'm guessing there's enough bandwidth in this cable to support all of that. Yeah, you know, I think we're all in a, what do we call it, a simulation. So this is all a recording. But now I can assure you, for the Amazon moderators that might be watching, I am very much live right now. This is not pre-recorded. So hopefully you don't cancel my stream again. All right, so let me get the software downloaded here, and then we'll plug it in and see what happens here. So the system program is the firmware. So I'm just going to download the tool here. And let's see, UVC setup tool 2.0 for Mac OS. And then we'll plug this into some other things after that. All right, I agree. Download file. All right, so we'll hit that onto my desktop there. And you know what, it's funny, I set my download folder to, yeah, let me go back over here. Okay, so let's install the software here and we'll get this going. And then we'll see how it works. But I'm pretty impressed with this so far. And I haven't even plugged it in yet. It looks like it's got a lot of features packed in. And John said, I just saw me on YouTube on the Amazon. Yeah, so Amazon, I simulcast to Amazon. And this is a nice comment. You can't tell if it's live. Am I live or Memorex? I can assure you that I'm live right now. This is not a recording. I will show you the time. It is 2:32 on, here, 2:32 on Friday, April 21st. This is live. Oh, that was the Truman Show is the video you're thinking of, the movie you're thinking of there. Yeah, my Mastodon post, everything gets it. So that's it. We are not pre-recorded. But it's fine. Nobody's watching on Amazon anyhow. So. And then maybe Amazon's having trouble because John says that it shows me as live on Amazon, but it's not actually playing anything. So let me go to my page here. Yeah, they must be having some issues over there. I will send them a note. I know it looks recorded, but it's not. Okay, so let me get the software installed here. This is called the Roland setup tool. And what I'm going to do, before I plug anything in, I'm just going to plug it into my USB hub here. And then we'll begin the setup process. All right. So it looks like you've got to get the software installed first because the setup light is blinking. So let me copy this over. And we'll get this going. I wonder if it's having trouble streaming my video. Let me take a look here and see. Yeah, I have it on the external camera, so it should be working. I think they're having trouble over at Amazon today. All right, so I've got the software installed. So let me install this real quick. And I'll show you my screen here in a second too. So let me close out. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on with the Amazon stream. I think there is a problem. I think there's a problem on Amazon side. You know what I could do is I could end the stream again on Amazon and try to start it again, but I'm not sure that's going to fix it. I wonder if I got flagged and now they have to like have somebody look at it. I don't know. This happened like once or twice before with Amazon. Oh, you know what the problem is too? Is that the stream that I was on is no longer the stream. So if you're clicking the link, that could be what it is. So let me go and find, let me share this new one. Here, I'll change the link on, I'll change the link on my short URL. Or I'll actually change the whole URL completely. Bear with me here for 1 second, folks, and we'll get everybody the new link. It doesn't look like that one's starting either. But the link has been updated, so let me just update that on the YouTube thing. They could just very well be having trouble today, which is ironic that we are reviewing a live streaming device and the Amazon live stream is not cooperating. All right, so how do I edit the description on this thing while I'm still in the middle of the video? Hang on, everybody. Here we go, edit, and I'll just change the link here. So I'm assuming at some point the Amazon stream will start working again. But in the interim, we will continue here on YouTube. Okay, so we've got this thing up and running. These are the mute buttons. Obviously, nothing's plugged into it at the moment. See, it just ended again. Yeah, so look what it's telling me. It's saying that I was doing primarily pre-recorded content, but I am not. They must be having trouble. Is anybody streaming live on Amazon right now? Let's take a look. I don't think I've ever seen it do that before. Let's see, let's go to Amazon Live. Go to Browse. Yeah, it doesn't look like anybody is actually live at the moment. Let's go to Discover. Oh, no, there's people live here. Yeah, you know what? I don't think it's working because I'm looking here like this Daily Trends one isn't working. This guy's working. This Deals of the Day guy is working. I don't know. Well, let me try one more time. Otherwise, we'll just keep going on YouTube here. Bear with me, folks. Try it one more time. And if this doesn't work, we'll just keep going on YouTube. And I've got somebody I can reach out to there. All right, here we go. One more time. And now I've got to set up the link again, because every time you start a new stream there, they reset your link. So let me do this real quick and see if that works. And for the powers that be at Amazon, I can assure you I am live right now. I am here. I am broadcasting live. This is not a recording. This is not a recording. I am very much here recording live on Amazon, or streaming live on Amazon and to YouTube simultaneously. All right, so let me update this link one more time. I have a feeling they're going to shut it down again, at which point I will email my contact there and let them know there's something wrong with the Amazon stream. Okay, in any event, here it is. Okay, so now I've got the software installed, and what I'm going to do is get my screen up here. Hit the wrong button there. That's right, John, I am live. This is not a fake recording. I am legitimately broadcasting live. The only thing I can think of is that maybe the stream isn't getting to them. I don't know. I mean, it's showing that it's working, so I'm not sure what the heck's going on. All right, so let me do that. And let me close out some windows here. And we'll get this going. Okay, so yeah, Frank Cromer says it's not working. You know, I don't know what's going on. But if anyone from Amazon Moderation is watching, we're having trouble with the stream. But that's okay. I've got other stuff I can do in the interim here. And we'll go from there. Okay, so let me go back to my computer here, and let me clean up my desktop because I have so much stuff loaded up here. And so we're going to go back and see what's going on. So yeah, I don't know why they're saying I'm pre-recorded when I am clearly not. And I'm just going to pull up the Roland setup utility here. So let's go over to Roland. Where did it go? So it is called, oh, UVC setup tool. All right, so let's try that. All right, so here it is. Now, we've got a version mismatch on here. Let me pull up my screen so you can see it too. So we have to do a firmware update, which is usually par for the course when we do these kinds of things. So we're going to update the firmware from 1.04 to 2.0. That's a pretty big update. So here it goes. Now, is anyone able to see this on Amazon, who's watching on Amazon right now, or is it still just not playing? Yeah, if I look at it, it shows that I'm live, but it doesn't actually start playing. And from the looks of it, there's only like one guy streaming right now completely. So this is very customizable. And this guy's showing recorded content. So I don't know what's going on. But I'm live. Yeah, I think they're having technical problems on Amazon today. So we'll just let it roll until they kick me off again. All right, so what's happening right now is the firmware is updating. And that's why it's blinking like it is. It looks like a pretty sizable update. Yeah, I think there's something going on with Amazon today, folks. Because usually they have like more than just one person streaming at this hour. So I think they're having some technical difficulties. Either that or they're just assuming everybody is pre-recorded or something. I don't know. Yeah, so the YouTube one will still work. So you can watch me in 4K over there. But I will send a note over there. All right, so this is almost done. Do not remove the USB cable. I will not do so. All right, we're almost there, and you can see it processing here. Yeah, I don't think anybody on Amazon is working today, is what it sounds like. Because like I said, there's only one person currently streaming. So that was a pretty hefty firmware update that it got. You know what's funny? I didn't know this thing existed until I until I saw it on sale yesterday or 2 days ago. So I got a really good price for it. It's not on sale anymore, at least at the price that I paid. All right, so now I need to disconnect and reconnect the USB cable. So let's do that. But how cool is this? This thing is totally bus powered. And you get all this functionality to it. Do you want to, let's see, do you want to restore the pre-update? Let's do that. Yeah, so it looks like Amazon is not happening today, so we're going to just stop the Amazon stream. I got hit with the pre-recorded content thing again, whatever that means. So I don't know if others are dealing with that. There's a Facebook group that I'm in with these folks. Actually, let me do this on the Discord. That might be the way to do it. All right, all settings data have been restored. Okay, so we've got this thing now up and running. And give me 1 second here. I just want to do one quick thing. One second, everybody. Okay, let's put in a little support request there. Okay, so here are the settings. And these are the system settings. So you can set different colors for the lights. So the audio out light, is the lights on the back here? Oh, I see, so I could change that to yellow? Okay, look at that. So now it's yellow. I can make it green. Now if I push it, what happens? Oh, this turns off. I see. So the light is either on or off. So you could change the color of what these lights are when they're activated. And then we've got our video out button there, which we'll get to in a minute. All right. And then we have two video formats here. We have quality, which is uncompressed, or performance. I'm going to leave it on quality. And it looks like you can actually control this thing live while you're in there. They have a voice changer. Well, that's pretty cool. But I'm guessing these buttons can do different things. I see. Yep, so we can do sound effects, voice changer. And then I can change the sounds. Let me see if I can find an audio file. So what does it want? File open. Okay, so let me grab a file. So I'll get some like sound effects that I can drop in there. And we'll play with that in a second. And let me check and see if I'm missing any questions from all of you. So Randall is here. Hello there. And yes, it does have a phantom power switch on it. So the use case for this device is kind of like, so if you are a streamer, let's say, this is why this would have been a perfect video for Amazon today. You can plug in your video camera here to the HDMI port, and you can also plug in your microphone, and it does some other stuff too. So we're going to play around with all these features here in a second. And I believe it supports Linux, but the software doesn't. So we'll figure it out. Yeah, the YouTube channel is working fine. It's just the the other thing that's not working. All right, so let's get this thing plugged in here and start playing with it. So I'm going to plug in my camcorder. And what's neat about this is that it grabs audio from the HDMI also. Oh, this button, oh, I see what this does. That's kind of neat. So if I go, so if I push this, it puts the setup screen on and off. I'm not sure what effect does. We'll get to that next. Okay, so, oh, I see. That might turn on, well, that turns on the, oh, it's got a sound that it plays. Wow, there's a lot to this. So check this out. It's got all these audio settings on here too. And I'm just playing around with this. I just started using it, so I'm learning as I go. So you know what I'm going to do real quick is just plug in my, well, it's got noise reduction. Geez, I got a lot of stuff to test on this. It's got an EQ. Look at that. Wow. There is a lot that you can configure on this thing. Wow. Okay. Well, we've got some work to do here. So let me get this I'm going to get my NDI set up real quick. Because what I want to do is have, I'm going to go the other way. Hang on. So I'm going to load up the NDI scan converter. And I think the scan converter on the Mac supports cameras, right? Maybe not. Okay, so I got to do something different here. All right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab my gaming PC here. What I'm trying to do is just set up something so that we can get a full experience. So give me 1 second. We just need to do one other thing here. I know I'm taking a while to get this set up. I'm trying to figure out the best way to demo it. Here, I'll answer Grayson's question first, though. So let me push the setup button here again. So yeah, I'll take you into the mic settings here. So it's got quite an extensive microphone setup. So if we look at this, so this is the default. So it looks like there's like 3 different templates you can mess with here. They have a de-esser, they have a noise suppressor, they have an EQ, there is a compressor. So that's a lot of, I mean, you don't typically see that. So like, for example, well, I guess we saw that with, whatchamacallit? Oh, that cable's not working. We saw that with the Elgato one, but that one did not, it did it all in software. This one will do it in hardware, I think, is how it works. I think it saves it onto the hardware. But my camera's video output is not yet working, so let me get that going. Sorry to do this to you all. This is not moving as swiftly as I thought it would. But I'm struggling with, this camera does not always play well on a longer cable. So I do have another cable down on the floor here, so let me grab that one real quick. Let's see if that adjusts things a little bit. So let me go find that other cable. Here it is. Ugh. So I may need to amplify this cable a little bit. Ooh. So the trick to these cables sometimes, if you have a really long one on these Canon camcorders, sometimes you need to put them through a splitter to give it a little amplification boost. So I'm going to try this other cable and see if that one works better. And sometimes you just get a bad cable. They just, like, I don't know what it is, but sometimes my cables just go bad over time. And it could just be that, you know, when you're snagging them and using them over and over again, things happen. Which might be the case here. And I'm not sure what this cable is plugged into. Looks like it's connected to, oh, here it is. All right. So I'm going to try this cable and see if this one cooperates. If not, I've got an HDMI splitter that will give it a little bit of a boost. All right, that worked. Okay, so that's working. And the next thing I need to do is get this PC booted up. I suppose I could connect, I want to be able to show it on the desk, and the cable is not long enough to go into my video system. Well, let me see if I have a longer USB cable here. Well, this one might work. Because ideally I could plug it right into my vMix system and that would solve the problem completely. Let's see how much length I can get out of this cable. Yeah, this one isn't much longer. Would have been nice if this had like USB 3 on it. But I'm trying to get this to a point where I can keep it in range of the camera that it's plugged into. So this cable is not very long. Yeah, it's not going to work too well. All right, so let's go with plan B here. So I'm going to disconnect my Mac, and I'm going to connect my PC running vMix, and that will get it working better. Yeah, the short cable is not that big of a deal, I think, in the grand scheme of things, but for our particular situation today, a longer cable would have been a little more helpful. All right, so we're going to bring in the massive Lenovo gaming laptop here. And what we'll be able to do, though, with this is once I get this set up, we'll be able to bring in everything over vMix and NDI. All right. So bear with me here, folks. And I think this port does video output. Let's see. There we go. All right, and if I'm not mistaken, I installed vMix on this, I think, but maybe not. I didn't. Shoot. Okay. A few more minutes here, folks. We'll get this thing working just yet. I just have to install vMix on this particular computer because I did not have it installed on it. And then once we get it installed, we can try this out, see how it works. And in the interim, let's take some more questions. Okay. Does it have a Klingon translator? It does not, but it has lots of settings, and that's why Poorly Buffalo likes it. Yeah, there is a lot going on here. Okay, so let me go over to my vMix download here and get that going. And this will just take a second because I have to install vMix, and then I've got to put my license code into it and all that good stuff. So bear with me here. I needed to get vMix installed on this laptop anyhow, so no time like the present, right? So hopefully you are all having a good day today. You know, it's funny, I got everything set up, I'm like, I'm good to go. And then I realized that I'm not good to go because the cable wasn't long enough. And we'll get there in 1 second here. But it's Friday, right? It's like a chill day, Friday. End of the week. We can chill out and enjoy our time together. All right, almost there. This will show you, though, how quickly you can get vMix installed and like have a functional situation there pretty quickly. All right, we're almost there. Now, by the way, this is 1080p only, but we have the HDMI going in. We're soon going to plug in my microphone, and we'll have a whole bunch of fun here. And give me 1 second here, so I want to make sure I've got it in the right spot here. Yes, this I must have activated on another computer. So I'm going to deactivate this one. And then we'll get going. All right. So here's my license key. Okay, making progress. And I'm going to stick to a 1080p workflow on this one because this is not a 4K device. All right, so we're good there. And what I can do now is show you what we've got. So now I'm going to add input, and I'm going to add a camera, and I'm going to select the Roland UVC-02. And this is going to bring in audio from it as well. And again, it has its own mixer on board. Now what we should see, yep, here we are. So here's my image. Let me get my camera rotated here a little bit. Although, if I'm not mistaken, it just dropped the frame, didn't it? It might just be because it's plugged in through my... It could be because it's plugged in through my, my hub here. Let me plug it in directly. So bear with me for 1 second. I'm just going to save as, put this on the desktop. We're going to call this Roland test. I'm going to save that. And I'm going to move this device to a different port. So I'm going to unplug it from here. I'm going to plug it directly into the laptop. So I'm pushing a lot of bandwidth with the video and everything through that port. All right, so now we got that going. And I'm going to grab my headphones and plug those in so I can monitor. Oh, these will work. It needs to have a microphone on board also so we can test that out. And I'm thinking it's probably advantageous to have the software that goes with it installed, just to keep the mixing products at a minimum. So we'll install that software in a minute too. So what I'm going to do here, I got this pair of Turtle Beach headphones. They're actually pretty extensive in their setup process here. But it does have a microphone on it, and theoretically, if I plug this into the headphone jack here, all right, so now I don't hear anything yet, but there's also nothing going in. So let's plug in this microphone, and then I'll share with you what it sounds like. Okay. I need to have phantom power on. Check, check, check. All right, so all right, there we go. I'm starting to hear something. Check, check, check. Okay, so I'm starting to hear things out of the headphones here. Check, check, check. It's very low on these, but I wonder if, oh, there's volume control on these things. Okay. Okay. All right, so we're getting there. I don't yet hear anything out of this microphone. Oh, there we go. Check, check. Okay, so I'm starting to hear something there. Okay, so now let's load up our vMix again. Okay. So, yeah, there was a drop. It's dropping frames. Look at that. Although, you know what that is? That's not. This is the computer's video output that's causing that. So that issue of the drop frame is not, it's the video output. So it might be the Ethernet. There's so many components to this thing. Okay, so what's happening here is that I am outputting my video through this USB hub. I'm going to pull the video out of here, and I'm going to just plug it directly into the HDMI output. And let's see if that improves the situation any. Yeah, that seems to work better. Hang on. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Yep, it's stable now. Okay, so we got that going. I just need to adjust the angle of the camera here. We're getting there. And the next thing I'm going to do after I get the camera situated is we're going to put that software back on. So, I mean, that's good enough. I mean, it's a little crooked, but we'll deal with that in a minute. And one more second here, folks. Ooh. Okay. So far, so good. All right, that's a little better. Okay, so now we have this coming in with no audio yet. And we've got two different microphone sources because of the way this works. Now, let me see. Yeah, so it's not picking up the audio from the device. So it must separate, it probably segments it out. So I'm going to try to add the input here for the audio. Audio input. Yep, here we go. Audio in, Roland UVC-02. Okay. So that's working. Yep, it's pretty low. I got to adjust some things a little bit. I will say the microphone is coming in, well, I guess I'm far away from it too, so that's probably contributing. So if I talk into it like this, you can see it's still pretty low, and that's with the mic level here pretty high. So if I turn the gain all the way up, that'll do it. I'll get this looped back into my video system here in a second. So the next step is I need to make this available as an NDI stream. So I'm going to go over here. And we're going to have my output, turn that on for NDI. And I need to restart vMix, but I'm going to make one other settings change here, because one of the issues that you have with vMix is that if you have a GPU with a lot of output, you want to put it into high input performance mode. So we're going to enable that. And then we'll restart vMix here. Okay. We are getting there, folks. Yeah, so here's the thing. Like, OBS is great because it's free, right? That's why people use OBS. I like vMix because I have support, but it feels more robust to me. And you know, I had experimented with OBS in the past, and my issue with it, I have nothing against it, but I just found that sometimes, like, I was relying too much on all these external or these open source external plugins or whatever, and that that got frustrating because things would change and then suddenly my workflow stopped working. So what's nice about vMix is that it's all integrated and it just works most of the time. So Matt K wants to know, this is a funny story. So when I was 13, I had my own cable access TV show. And as a kid, I always just liked, this may come as a shock to some of you. I was a real nerd growing up. And what I loved doing as a hobby was just connecting things together to see what would happen. And so I got really proficient at hooking different audio and video things together and making things work in a way that didn't require me having to buy equipment, because it was expensive to buy stuff back then. So I just kind of accumulated this knowledge, but I think I have this thing in my head about connections. So that's how it came about. And honestly, like, my desire to start a YouTube channel was more to just play with the technology than it was to actually do what I do. You know, the product reviews are kind of secondary to the fun I have just in making all this stuff work on a shoestring. So that's kind of where I go with it. All right, so the only other thing I want to do is just grab the Roland setup software, just so I have it on this computer. And I'll tell you what's neat about this thing is that the software actually is, the settings are put into this device. So you don't actually have to have the software with you all the time. It seems like the settings download to it. So I'm just going to grab this setup tool. And let me just download that, and then we'll be in good shape. And the good news is that once I get this going, I'll be prepared for my review of it when I get to that point. All right, get that going. All right, here we go. So what's nice about this tool, I'm not usually a big fan of memory resident tools, but if I hit the button here, watch, it puts the setup tools right front and center. So you can quickly get to them with a button push, which I think is pretty neat. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I am going to bring in the NDI feed from this Lenovo machine. And let's see how this sounds. I'm going to turn the headphone mic down, and let's give it a look-see. All right, so we got that. So let me turn. Okay, test. Ooh. Turn this off. Hang on, folks. All right, so I'm going to rely on you in the stream to tell me how this sounds. I have done nothing to the audio yet. I will be soon, but not yet. Put these on real quick here. So, and I should be able to monitor. Yeah, I can hear myself here. It just coming. There's no latency, so it comes in like real time. It's pretty wild. Okay, there we go. So now, I think I sound okay, right? Is it coming in it looks like it comes in out of both speakers, which is good. And now if I hit this button,
it's going to make me sound like a girl. Look at that. And that's one of the effects that's built into it. What do you think? You can sound like you ingested helium without any helium. How about that? This is wild. Wild.
then I could turn it off and go back to normal. So there you go. I'm a nerd. Go figure. How did that happen? So Spike Blighty says the audio seems a bit tinny, no bottom end. Okay, so let's adjust things a little bit. Okay, so this might be, here, I'm going to pull this up. Unfortunately, it takes a long time for you all to get what I see. But I'm going to go back here to the mic effect here. I'm going to turn off this noise suppressor. That might make a difference. I can't hear it. That's the problem. And this is a Shure SM7B. And so that might be why. Usually this has a little bit more bass than it does, right? So let me go back over here. I hate having to make all these crazy adjustments. Let me turn the EQ off. All right, so I'm going to turn the EQ off. I'm just going to turn everything off. And you can all tell me there's definitely a little bit of a hiss going on. What I could also do, though, is hook up, I could hook up one of my SM58 mics, which are a little better. And what I could also do here, check this out. I'm going to turn this, hang on. I'm going to turn this mic down. I can turn, I think, that doesn't seem to work. Can you hear me now? Barely. This is the headset mic, which doesn't sound so great. But I could use that, and I can use this mic. So I can actually bring in both because it has a mixer. And then if I hit the button here, check it out. So you can load in like little sound effects on both of these buttons here. This is the default one. So it actually stores resonant on the thing here. All right, so Poorly Buffalo said, turn the low cut filter off. Okay, so let's turn this back up, turn that off. Okay, so we're gonna go over and turn the, the low cut filter off. So let's go through, here's the audio. Well, there's a lot going on here. Look at all this stuff. It's got a USB input apparently also. It looks like you do some busing too, where you can have some things go to the... Okay, so, so this is with the effect on. That's what it is. All right, so right now the effect is off. And let me know, I think it might be sounding better now, doesn't it? And if I turn the effect on, this is going to be with the effect on. And that's with the effect off. Oh, I got it now. Okay, so there's a headphone mic effect, and then there's regular microphone effects. Okay, so with the effect off, it sounds like it sounds better. Now, granted, I could adjust everything and get it to a point where it would work better. But with the effect currently off, so this is with it on. And I think I took everything off of, hang on, let me quit this. I'm going to like quit the software and like reload it. And let's see what happens here. Okay, so now it's back up. And under, yeah, so right now everything is set to off. I could, okay, so now, oh yeah, I can hear that. So if I turn the effect off, you just get the raw microphone here. And with the effect on, it makes it, so that's what you're hearing. So I think it sounds, I can hear it through these headphones. I think it sounds better now, right? You can tell me. And so this is the button here. So if I push the button, so that's, as you hear, it got rid of all the hissing, but it also changes the sound of the audio. So I think it sounds better now, but you all can tell me. All right, so right now the effect is off. Okay, sorry about that. That was the 55-minute thing. I can't win today. Nothing's working. All right. Okay, so why don't you all, I'm going to leave everything off for right this second. And because I'm getting people giving me feedback about things sounding awful, but I'm not sure what you were referring to. So right now I have everything off. So this is just the mic raw with no effect. So tell me what it sounds like to you now. You know, does my voice sound like it's made for radio or not? And if I'm not mistaken, Poorly Buffalo, I want to have phantom power enabled for this mic, right? And so Matt's saying it's scratchy. All right. So we need the phantom power on. Okay, so this sounds better to everybody. And through my headphones, it sounds pretty good too. So I think this sounds better. And then if I turn on the effect is where things go south. But I could obviously adjust that. But the effect, now that I just turned it on, so this is the effect on, that's the effect off. So the effect, I think, could be better, but it would require a lot of tweaking to get it right. But I think if you have a good microphone, turning the effect off is probably the best option to go with there. And I'm guessing that, let me pull this back up here, that the noise suppressor is probably contributing to it. All right, well, at least we got that figured out. And then what's cool about this was a mic attenuation also. So right now it's minus 20 dB. Oh, no, I'm sorry, it's at 0. Okay, so if I hit this, it'll lower it. Yeah, okay. This is a mute button. So if I push the mute button, so I'm talking, goes out. And then on the video side, let me pull up my vMix here. On the video side, if I push the video button, goes out. But it stays active on the USB side, so it basically just blanks the video out. That's pretty cool. Can you see my head through this big microphone? Don't I look like a professional streamer now? This is how I'm going to do all my videos from now on. I'm going to have these big headphones on and my big microphone, and I'm going to stream stuff. All right. So it's funny, though, if I turn phantom power off, nothing. Or it's actually, there it goes. Okay. No, it's better now. So now I've got phantom power off. It sounds better. There we go. All right, so I'm going to leave phantom power off on this mic. Actually, it sounds pretty good now. And this is actually a good indicator of the latency. So just to give you an idea as to how this is working right now, this is going in over USB. Let me pull up my... So this is going USB from here into here. This is NDI to my other vMix system. And so this video is coming through my vMix system, but the audio is coming in over NDI. So I think it sounds pretty good. Matt K's like, I'm out of here. I do need the propeller head, for sure. Yeah, I like having a lavalier because I move around a lot, so that's my preference. You do get a much richer sound out of a larger mic, but... Okay, so that's working. So we've got that going. And what I could do also, this will sound weird, but I can also talk through this mic. So I could mute this one. Does it... So this button, when you hit this button, it mutes everything out. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. Yeah, it works great. I mean, it's a nice piece of, as they say in some parts of the world, it is a nice piece of kit. So in case you're tuning in late, the video, this thing delivers video and audio. It even does sound effects. Listen to this, right? That comes in just by pushing the button. And I could actually put up another one here. Now let's see if it does this again.
Yep, there we go. So I can also push this button, and I can have a voice that sounds like this without helium. How about that? And then I can
turn it off and go back to normal. So that's pretty good. Okay, so we got that going. I'm going to record. I'm just going to do a quick recording. So I am recording just to get a sense of what the audio sounds like, so I can play this back later and make sure that it sounds the way I think it sounds. But yeah, it looks pretty good. Okay. Okay, so that's working. So now, oh, let me do this. Let me turn this off here. Hang on, I'll try it again. All right, one more time on the recording because I still had this mic active. So this is a test. And what this can do, in addition to bringing in audio from this mic in the headset, I can also bring in audio from HDMI. So if that camera's mic was active, I'll turn it back on in a minute. I can bring in audio from there. And then I also have an aux input, so I could plug in something else and bring in audio from that too. So you could have like a little soundboard next to you. How about that? All right, so that's good. Does it have an old man voice? Let me see what the other ones are on here. So if we go over to button, let me show you the options. Oh wow, there's a lot of them. Look at that. Boy, girl, lady, gentleman. Let's try lady. Okay, let's try that. Ready? Oh, and it actually will change the voice separately. So you can actually run it. Isn't that crazy? Okay, so, all right, this is now the lady. Hello, this doesn't really sound like a lady, does it? It sounds more like me. All right, maybe that's like an enhancement. Let's try gentleman. This is the gentleman speaking. All right. That's not as significant as the girl. Let me try the boy. So doesn't sound any different either. So that's boy. This is anime. I have to let me start and stop. This is anime. Doesn't sound any different to me. This is the ghost. Unless maybe you have to enable it somewhere. I don't know. Here's robot. This is robot. It seemed like it was working better earlier. And yeah, it doesn't seem to be working now. So what is the reason for that? Unless I was pushing, I was pushing the wrong button. Hang on. All right, so this is boy. All right, so this is boy. I'm not sure. It sounds kind of robotic.
This is girl. And this is lady.
Well, that one sounds interesting. So this is the lady one. So maybe this is how Kid Boga does it, right? He's that guy that does scam baiting. So there you go. So that's that. Here is gentleman.
Hi, I'm a gentleman. All your bass belong to us. It sounds almost a little robotic.
Here's the anime. I am anime Lon. This is what it sounds like.
And here is Ghost. I will infest your nightmares. And then we
Have robot. I am. What's a weird robot? I don't know if this really sounds like a robot, but that's what it says it sounds like. I'm not sure. You tell me. Yeah, I think.
Only girl is significantly different. I would give you that.
here's the Ghost is pretty cool.
Robot, I'm not crazy about.
Gentlemen, my fellow Americans, I could work. I don't know. And
this is just off. So
Yeah, I think girl has the biggest impact here, for sure. Now this button, I
I can change to sound effects. So I could have a sound effect load in. So right now on the second button, if I push the second button, it plays like the little trumpet. So these you can load in. They have to be 5 seconds or less. So that's the only downside to those. So let me grab get my other computer out here. Hang on a second. It's my So it's basically, when you think about it, it is a 1, 2, 3, 4 channel mixer. Actually 5 channels. You have the other mic. So there's a lot you can do with it. And I'm just going to go on the YouTube audio library real quick. And I'm going to look for something. You know what I have somewhere? I don't know where I put it, but I have a CD full of the Star Trek original series sound effects. They had some great sound effects in that CD. Bought that when I was in high school. Of course, you can't use any of them because they're all copyrighted, but let me go over to YouTube, and I'm going to grab... but I got to say, this thing is pretty neat. I'm pretty happy with it. It's like a Swiss Army knife, you know, and you know, you think about Elgato, and you think about you know, what Creative or Logitech is doing with Creator Tools, but you don't think of Roland that often. But look at all the stuff that it can do. All right, so let me go over to the audio library on YouTube and go to sound effects here. So the problem is you have to have 5 seconds of duration, and that's it. Or 5 seconds max. So I'm just going to find one here that is of that. Let's see. I just want to find a good, like, quick sound effect that would be effective.
Silent scan. Silent scan.
Not sure what that is. Oh my goodness, what is that? Almost there. Let me find a good one here. That was a weird one. All right, this will work. Well, I like that one. All right, so I'm going to grab this real quick. So let me download that, and I'll throw it on my my NAS. So that's an MP3 file. I don't know if it can play MP3, but we'll find out. Okay, so I got that downloaded. And let me just go over to my NAS real quick. I may have to convert it to WAV, which is not hard to do. Okay, so now let's go over to our thing here. I think I can find a lot of utility for this thing, to be honest with you. It's really, I think it's going to be really useful. All right, so I'm going to just grab this file off of here real quick. Throw it on my desktop here. All right, so we got the file copied. And now what I'm going to do is, instead of all right, so instead of the voice change, I'm going to grab, I think I copied it to my desktop, I think. Nope. Hang on, I gotta go find, I gotta find where I put the file. Oh, maybe it doesn't support MP3. Oh, only WAV. Okay, so we got to convert it to WAV. So give me a second on that. So it's got to be a WAV file, and it's got to be under 3 seconds. Is the deal with that? All right. So hang on, everybody. Not a lot of interest in this one from a viewership standpoint, but I think for video nerds, this is a really helpful little tool. Okay, so let's grab my audio converter thing here on the Mac. And I'm going to change it to WAV. All right, so got that set. Make it WAV. All right, so now I made a WAV file. And I'm just going to throw this back on the NAS. Okay, so now it's a WAV file. And let's see if it can find that. All right, so if you are just jumping in, what this is, so we've looked at like XLR to USB audio converters. This one is XLR and video plus 4 other audio channels you can bring in simultaneously. So that is what's neat about this. So you can have HDMI audio, you have an aux input, you have your microphone, which is what the XLR is plugged into right now, and I've got a headset on, if it hasn't been apparent to you, that also can have its mic come in and work as a monitor. So it's kind of like a jack of all trades kind of box. And then you've got these buttons. See that? So you can put like little, it can make it like a little soundboard, at least for two sounds. And so what I'm about to do now is I'm going to have a WAV file that I just put together. Oh, it's got to be, the format of the file is not supported, nonlinear PCM. Okay, so hang on, I got to do another conversion. So it's apparently got a very specific file format for the WAV file. So let's try this again. All right, so we're going to change, oops. So the WAV here, let me try this again here. So let's add new preset, audio. Let me try this PCM A-Law version. I'm not sure what the difference is, but I didn't like that one. Bear with me here, folks. This might prove to be more complicated than it's worth, but we'll see. Actually, let me remove this and try again with another format. Audio. Wave. And I think there was a note on its spec page about what it supported. Yeah, so the audio file. Wave, linear PCM, 48 kilohertz. So it's got to be linear PCM. So let me add another one here. So 48 kilohertz, 16-bit. And this one only supports 8-bit on that setting. Let me show you what this one supports. That one's 16-bit, integer. All right, let's try this again. This one might do it, because I had the wrong setting before. All right, so let's try that. All right, so let's try this again, see if it picks that one up. Okay, so now let's go back over to, and let's see if we can get this to work here. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I mean, it's one of those things where it combines a lot of products into one, and I think that might be useful for some folks. Yeah, it looks like I can't find the file at all. Didn't I just copy it over there? Oh, shoot. Hang on a second. All right, so let's copy that over. So we'll go back to here. Oops. All right, so we'll select that. We're going to do wave. Okay, so now it should show up over here. Reselect it here. File open. There it is. Windows glass breaking. Ah, looks like it took it. Okay, so I'm going to click update the SFX sound. Are you sure? Yes. Oh, look at that. So it actually copies the file into it. So the file will stay on the device, so you don't have to have the software running. So you could conceivably configure this on one device and then have it available on the others. All right, let's see what happens. Pretty cool, though, I think, don't you think? Okay, so now let's push the button here. That was a little loud. And then I have this one. That's cool. Okay, push them both. Yeah. Pretty neat. So, yeah. And then what I could do with this, in addition to that, so check this out. So if I go back over here. So right now I have the button set to the sound that we uploaded, but I could also change it this way. And if I think I have to go back out. Check, check. Check. Oh, I have to push the button again. Okay, so now
I can be a girl.
I can be a ghost.
I can be a boy.
I can be a gentleman.
And what I could then do is
Push this and then have the sound back in there. The other thing this can do is it also can control your slideshow. So if you have a PowerPoint, you can use these buttons to navigate through your presentation. So you effectively have a control panel here that can control your PowerPoint when you're plugged into Zoom or whatever. And you also have buttons here, so I could mute. I can turn my video off. So if I go back over here, video's out. And then this button disables the audio out, but it keeps the mic going. So if I hit, oh, well, that still does it. But but if I had the aux here activated, so you have an aux control. What this would do is turn off the aux audio. So if I had music running or something, I could, kind of turn it off and turn it on at will. So that's pretty neat. All right, let me try one other thing. I'm going to turn on the HDMI on my camera. So let's see if that works. All right, now I've got HDMI. Yeah, so, yep, it's picking it up. So I've got the, I have the on-camera mic. Let me pull this one back up here again. So I can turn this off, but I have the on-camera mic currently picking up also. So you can bring in like HDMI. So if you had like a Blu-ray player or something connected to it, it doesn't do HDCP, I should point that out. But if you had like a computer plugged in, the computer can supply its audio through the HDMI. And you can control the audio of that device here. So you've got like a little mixer, and it's more than just one microphone. So I think it's really cool. And you can see all the different controls, and then you have like a real-time level meter here as well. It'll show you what your video input is looking like. It does 1080p 60 max, but I think that's certainly more than adequate. So I'm impressed with this thing. I think this is a really neat thing. Frosty Winnipeg is here. Hello there. Carol Churvizin. I'm sorry, I always get your name wrong, but Carol, hello there. Thanks for stopping by. And if the presets are stored, wouldn't want to do, yeah, you don't have to do the computer setup here. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's bus powered. So you don't need anything other than the USB cable. So, I keep these kinds of devices around because they're helpful for field stuff. I do, go out in the field occasionally. And what I like about this one is that, anytime you can lighten the load up, the better, right? So, and think about this. So when I am out in the field, which is, occasionally, and I've got actually something coming up, and you have a limited number of USB ports on your computer. So what's nice about this is that you've got your audio inputs and your video inputs on one port. So you don't need to sacrifice, if you wanted to bring in an audio, a balanced audio input along with a camera. If you had a camcorder or something, you could do, or a SLR or whatever, you could do that with this. So it brings in video, and you've got essentially 5 audio sources you can mix in. And there's a simplicity level with this, especially like if you're a podcaster and you have effects that you want to do, right? So you could plug in on the aux port here. There's an auxiliary input. That's one thing I haven't set up yet, which I'll do before I do the review. But you can set up that auxiliary input and, connect up an audio player or another computer or something like that. And if you were doing an interview, you could do the interview by plugging in the auxiliary. And then, get this, there's some buses to this also. So if you go over to audio, you've got routing. So, so if you wanted to, for example, not have the HDMI audio go out to the stream, but you wanted to hear it, you could turn it off here and leave it on here, right? And they have a couple different settings. So they have web meeting, which would turn your mic off for your headphones. Oops. I'll turn that off. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool. It's a neat little box. It's like a Swiss Army knife. That's what I like about it. So yeah, I think I got a good feel for it. And yeah, you can just load stuff in here, and it does a lot in one package, and it's bus powered. What more could you want? All right, yeah. So I probably wouldn't use this day to day, but it's nice to know that it's there. Basically, is what I'm getting at here. But yeah, looks pretty decent. All right. Well, everybody, I think I've got enough to work with here, so I'm going to put some notes together and probably review this thing in a couple of days. And yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of interest from the viewers on this one, but I think it's neat. So that's what I'm going on there. So, all right. Well, I'm going to go get a video edited. Jake is off this week, so I got to do double duty. So I'm going to go edit a video and take the dog out for a walk. But I appreciate you all bearing with me on this one. And I've gotten a couple more questions here. So let me go back to my vMix social thing here. Oh, you know what? There we go. So Matt K says, yeah, I've got to do some more work on mom's internet. So that's I got to get that done soon because her contract with Comcast is ending soon. So we're going to work on that. And we'll be looking at that soon. And I got a bunch of questions earlier about the Picard show. I really like that show. Picard. I liked season 1. Season 2 was like iffy to me. I didn't really get it. Although I think from a character development standpoint, season 2 of Picard has some value from his character development. I know people were talking about that, but yeah, I'm not going to give it away. But the Picard show was great. It is definitely, yeah. James is talking about it. It is definitely worth watching, and every episode is awesome. The whole show was great. And on the rocket, I think it was. Their measurement of success is different than I think other people's. I would say they were probably hoping for a longer flight. It looks like the pad is what doomed it, right? So if you watch the launch, and I'm not a rocket scientist, but I've watched enough rockets to know that when you have debris flying up with the rocket, then that's not a good thing. So when it launched, you can see the end. There's a couple of engines just like popped off, but there was a few that never ignited at the time it took off. And I think what happened was that hold down device for the rocket on the pad, they had not had a static fire that lasted all that long. So the launch sequence has a lot of thrust going that's being held down without a real exhaust for the flames, and I think a lot of vibration as a result. So I think what you're going to find is that the problems they had with that launch started on the pad. And it looks like it got to the altitude that it could get. It could get no further because of the engine failures and stuff. And they opted to not go with the stage separation because it probably would have been dangerous. So I think you're going to see a completely redesigned launch pad or something that was a little more robust. And the thing with SpaceX is that, remember, they run on the cheap. So they've got, I think they have at least 3 of these things built already. So it's not like it's going to take them long to get the rocket ready. I think the ground stuff is going to require a lot more work. If you look around on Twitter and look for pictures of the launch pad, it's destroyed, literally. And chunks of concrete were flying for a long distance. The NASA spaceflight guys have a van that they use to run some of their live stream stuff from, and it looked like it got hit by artillery fragments. It was pretty bad. So yeah, that was the you saw that too, James. I think that was NASA spaceflight's that was their van. So yeah, it's pretty wild. But yeah, I think that's what's going to happen with it. they're going to have to redo the launch pad. And they were, I mean, it won't, I'm sure they thought about this issue. It came up, people were pinging Elon about it 2 years ago, like, hey, shouldn't you have a little more flame directors or whatever at the pad? And he was hoping not to, but I think they're going to have to. And that'll impact their design at the Kennedy Space Center too. I think if that, because just watch the launch, like you can see the debris just flying up. And I have no doubt those engines got damaged at the time of ignition. And it's funny, as you see it going up, you'll see the engines, like a couple of them popping off. And there was debris coming off the, yeah, definitely time to rebuild. So they'll get it there. But I think, you know, when you look at it on the whole, the fact that it took off, it was controlled flight the whole way through, even when they decided to destroy it. So if all the engines worked, it would have been a very different story. But I'll tell you what, if I won that contest for the moon, I'd be hoping they spend some more time on this thing before before it goes up for real. But yeah. All right, everybody. Well, I'm going to take off. Thank you all for helping me test this thing out, and we'll be back again in the near future. Talk to you in a little bit. Have a great weekend if I don't pop on before next week. Bye-bye.